Hi guys. I get to be home alone today, so might as well just record more than one problem. And so now I'm just revisiting this problem where I've solved it before. So this problem is human traffic of a stadium. So we have a stadium table. We have an ID, visit date and people. Visit date of the column is unique value for this table, so it's a primary key. Each row of this table contains the visit date and visit ID to the stadium with the number of people during the visit. As the ID increases, the date increases as well. Alright, so I don't know what to do with that information, but I'll write a solution to display the records with 3 or more row with consecutive IDs, and the number of people is greater than or equal to 100 for each. The result of the table ordered by visit date in the ascending order, and the result format is in this table. So we have this table right here. Obviously these two don't qualify to be in the result, since if we take this out, this is also not qualified, so we got the 4 left. Alright, so let's just see. I've been noticing that my voice is high pitched at some point and it's annoying, and so let me try to mellow it down. And here is my solution back in 2022. This is almost 2 years ago. Runtime is pretty good, but it's still not that good. And let's copy this solution and see what kind of shenanigan I did back then. Alright, so I did a CTE do with everything in the table, and then the lead ID is previous ID, previous people, and then the next, lead is previous, and lag is previous. I don't know. So see, things I did back then didn't make sense. All IDs as this from the people who, okay, I did some union over here, and then the previous ID, previous people, and next people, and then union with the next ID and the previous ID. Where ID is in all ID order by visit date. Okay, so basically I find the previous ID and then the next ID, get it all together, exclude it over here, and then union it. Alright, well, that's doesn't seem like it's easy to follow, but let's find another way. So if you have been following me on my channel, I like to do a little bit called a little bit of a little technique called anchor or chunk. So basically I use a dense rank function, rank it, and then using another sequence another column sequence that's available in the table, and then do a subtraction out of it. And that way I have a little chunk of something if everything is consecutive. So first of all, I'm going to I'm going to remove any visit that doesn't have more than 100 people. So more than 100 people. So basically, if you understand the execution order, you are going to select from the stadium table, stadium, and remove everything from where people is. It's 100. So that way I lost these two row out of the batch. And now I'm going to give you so I'm going to select everything ID. And visit date. And then people. And I'm going to use the ID as the sequence that I have. So now that I lost these two, my ID is going to start with 2, 3, and then 5, 6, 7, 8. And so I use the ID, I subtract the dense rank, just ranking the whole table and order by ID. And so now this is going to become, so this dense rank is going to be like 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 6. And so when it's subtracted out, so it's because it's 1, 2 minus 1 is 1. And then 3 minus 2 is also 1. And so that way, why don't I just run it? So now you see the first chunk, if it's consecutive. So the ID is consecutive. That's why I have the chunk is number 1. And then 5, 6, 7, 8 is chunk number 2. So I'm going to call it chunk. But then because it asks for 3 or more, with 3 or more rows with consecutive IDs and a number of people greater than or equal to 100 each. So this part is already take care of the greater than 100 each, and now we just need to find 3 or more. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to use this chunk as the group by, which is the anchor. I'm gonna count the ID within it, and anything that has less than 3 obviously gotta go. And so this is the first thing that we gotta do. So with CTE as I'm going to be lazy here and not thinking about naming my table. Alright, and so set the second CTE is select so ID, visit date, people. Oh no, I'm just gonna do a count ID and then the chunk from CTE and then group by chunk, and I'm gonna group by that chunk. And for the actual group by chunk, and since we already do this count ID, might as well just remove them all together. So remember, if we want to filter by an aggregation, using having instead of where, having count ID is greater than 2. So start with 3. And then we are going to do a select the main query to get the to get the result that we wanted. And so since this one has the chunk and the count ID and is already take out the things that the chunk that we don't want. So for example, chunk number 1 has 2, so it doesn't fit this condition, and so it's already gone. So now we're just going to use this chunk, map it back to CTE number 1. Let's do this 1 and do this 2 so it's easier to follow. So we map it back to CTE number 1 and then use this actual ID to and then just map it back to CTE number 1 and take the chunk that we wanted. And so we're going to select ID, so we're going to do c1.id to char, because you see the visit date has its time in it, so we're going to do a to char just to get the date out of it. c1.visit date, and then the people, right? Do they want the people? Yes, they do want the people. And then people, c1.people from CTE 1, we call it C1. And then we're gonna do a joint with CTE2. Got C2 on C1 dot chunk equals C2 dot chunk. So that will take care of, that will remove anything that doesn't have on either on CTE2. So that's why we do an inner join. And then they want me to do it by visit date. So we are going to visit date order by visit date, right? Yes, people ID. Okay, that sounds good. So let's just run it. Table order does not exist. How? Because I did it from this one. So it's a lot easier to understand in this query than my shenanigan 2 years ago. Let's just submit it and we'll see what happens. Voila! It beats the rest of the people, guys. So, see that hypish thing. So that is my little trick here once more time that help us achieving something that I did was looking funky and hard to follow. Anyway, thank you for staying with me. Till next time. Bye.